There's been a record number of COVID infections in the US and in a number of European countries. America has recorded more than 440,000 cases and France almost 180,000. One of Hong Kong's last remaining pro-democracy publications is to cease operations and dismiss all of its employees shortly after its offices were raided. Police made 7 arrests, accusing the organisation of publishing articles inciting hatred against the authorities. South Africans have been celebrating the life of Archbishop Desmond Tutu in a gathering outside the family home in Soweto. There'll be a memorial service later today in Cape Town. And record amounts of snow have fallen in western and northern Japan, blocking roads and railways and disrupting flights.
Elon Musk has exercised the final batch of a package of Tesla stock options that have underpinned recent share dealings by the CEO. In connection with the latest transaction, Musk sold more than 934,000 shares to cover associated taxes, according to regulatory filings. Over the past few weeks, Musk's stock sales have reached a value of more than $16 billion. The CEO has verbally sparred over taxes with some Democratic lawmakers, as party members have proposed raising the capital gains tax that applies to stock sales. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is investigating or monitoring 86 cruise ships with reported COVID-19 cases on board. Carnival, which owns 32 of the vessels on the CDC's list, said company protocols, including vaccinations, testing, and masks for travelers, have been effective. We're exclusively reporting President Biden is considering former Federal Reserve Governor Sarah Bloom Raskin for a top post at the Fed overseeing the nation's banking system. Sources said Biden is also considering a pair of economists for 2 other Fed board seats that will soon be vacant. Markets in Asia ended mixed and European shares mostly rose in early trading. In the U.S., stock futures gained after Tuesday's mixed session on Wall Street.
We start with the coronavirus situation here in Japan, where the number of new cases is on the rise again. Authorities confirmed more than 500 infections on Wednesday for the first time in 2 months. Officials here in Tokyo reported 76 new cases, topping 50 for the first time since mid-October. That marked a week-on-week increase for 12 days in a row. Officials at the U.S. Marine Corps Air Station Iwakuni in Yamaguchi Prefecture, western Japan, say 80 personnel tested positive for the coronavirus. That's the highest number reported on the base in a single day. At the U.S. Marine Corps Camp Hansen in the southern prefecture of Okinawa, a total of nearly 300 people have been confirmed to be infected so far. Japan's foreign ministry believes 47% of the samples are of the Omicron variant. Currently, only Japanese nationals and returning foreign residents are being allowed into the country. Anyone arriving from nations or territories where Omicron cases have been confirmed must quarantine for 3 to 10 days in designated facilities. After the Japanese government reimposed those stricter border control measures, health ministry officials confirmed 113 Omicron cases between December 17th and the 25th. Now, the rush of year-end travelers is hitting its peak in Japan on Wednesday. Airports and train stations are busier than last year when the pandemic led people to stay home. Tokyo's Haneda Airport was bustling from early in the morning. Long lines formed at facilities offering PCR and antigen tests. They aren't necessary for travel within Japan, but some wanted to get tested before flying to other parts of the country.
I'm getting tested just in case, to keep both my family and hometown safe.
I planned to do this before the Omicron variant. I wanted to make sure I wasn't infected before heading to my hometown.
Airlines are calling on passengers to wear face masks and socially distance. They said domestic flights departing from Tokyo or Osaka are at near capacity through Wednesday. And the Japan Railways Group says Shinkansen bullet trains heading out of major cities are packed as well. On the line between Tokyo and Osaka, there are more passengers on board than available seats, so many travelers have to stand. Lines servicing other regions are also very busy. Turning now to the United States, where the 7-day average of new coronavirus cases has surpassed 240,000, approaching a record. New York is taking new measures to curb a rapid increase of infections among children. Health authorities say 109 people under the age of 19 were hospitalized in New York City last week. They say that's 5 times the number at the beginning of December. The city shut down more than 140 municipal school classrooms on Monday. New York's mayor says the goal is to keep people safe for the rest of the school year.
This gives us a new approach, and that approach is called Stay Safe and Stay Open.
The mayor said the city will double COVID-19 testing in schools. He said students will be allowed to attend as long as they test negative and do not show any symptoms. New York's governor said the state is set to provide 2 million testing kits to schools in the city. Authorities in Hong Kong are intensifying their crackdown on media freedom. Police arrested 7 people in connection with an online news outlet known for its pro-democracy slant. Over 200 police officers on Wednesday raided the office of Stand News. The media outlet reported on a series of anti-government protests in Hong Kong in 2019. Police say they arrested the 7 people on suspicion of conspiracy to publish seditious publications. One of them is pop singer Denise Ho, who was a board member for Stand News. Ho's activities to promote democracy were recorded for a documentary. Stand News said in a Facebook post on Wednesday it would stop operating after the police raid. It said all of its employees had been dismissed. Now, this is the latest in a series of crackdowns on journalism in Hong Kong. On Tuesday, prosecutors filed the same charges against the founder of pro-democracy newspaper Apple Daily. Jimmy Lai has already been indicted for violating the national security law. The Hong Kong Journalists Association says it's deeply concerned about the arrests. The group is urging the government to protect press freedom in accordance with the territory's basic law. In other news, an international aid group says 2 of its staff members were among 35 civilians killed in Myanmar. Save the Children reports the 2 got caught up in an attack while returning to their office on Friday. The bodies of all the victims were found in the eastern state of Kaya. The military and pro-democracy armed groups have been engaged in fierce fighting in Kaya since the military took control of the country. On Saturday, the pro-democracy groups issued a statement saying the military killed 35 civilians, including women and children. They also accused the military of burning their bodies and some vehicles. Save the Children issued a statement on Tuesday. It said 2 of its members were among the victims. The men were both fathers of infants. The group condemned violence against innocent civilians, such as aid workers. Now, Save the Children said its 900 staff members have been providing support around the nation, but it added operations in Kaya and other areas were suspended following the attack. The military has dismissed the claims made by the pro-democracy groups. The state-run media has reported the fighting erupted after militants and vehicles opened fire on soldiers. The United States has sharply criticized Myanmar's military. Secretary of State Antony Blinken issued a statement denouncing the targeting of innocent people and humanitarian actors. Blinken called on the international community to do more to prevent a recurrence of atrocities in the country. He also said sales of arms and dual-use technology to the military should be halted. North Korean media say the country's leader has outlined the state policy for the coming year. Kim Jong-un made an address at a plenary meeting of the Central Committee of the ruling Workers' Party on Tuesday. The party's Rodon Shinmun newspaper reports Kim set forth development strategies and major tasks for attaining rural development during the second day of the meeting. He apparently stressed his stance to work on improving the country's food situation, but the paper did not disclose what exactly Kim said. Thursday will mark the 10th anniversary of Kim becoming the country's top military commander. Attention is focused on whether Kim will present a new direction for the country's relationship with the United States and its nuclear and missile programs leading into the next 10 years of his rule.